Hi, my name is Patra, and I am from Hong Kong, and I'm here in Brazil joining the film festival here. And we are representing two movies. One is Sok Sok, which is to be screened tomorrow in the Majestic. And then on the closing ceremony day, our other film, All Shall Be Well, will also be featured on that particular day.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So you have cooperated with Ray Yeung a number of times now. It's third?
No, this is my second time working with Ray.
So
That's my first movie ever. Is also with Ray, which is Sok Sok, which is to be screened tomorrow. Yeah.
And so how was it different this time between the two movies? Was your cooperation different?
Well, there's a number of differences, of course. Last time in Sok Sok, it was my first movie with Ray, and I didn't really know what he really wants. But we did have a couple of conversations before he even gave me the audition. So I understand that he wants someone who will be doing the Yasujiro Ozu kind of style acting. And because I've taken a course on Yasujiro Ozu, well, but that was like years ago, you know, when I was in college. So I kind of know what he wants. And I think I deliver at least a decent job for that one. And, you know, I was the supporting actress in that one because I was the wife of one of the gay protagonists. And that was our first encounters, my first encounters with Ray. And then our collaboration the second time is in All Shall Be Well. And then I remember it was one Christmas after after Sok Sok, and he asked me, would I be interested in working with him again? And I said, of course. Ray is a very good director. He's very detail-oriented, and he is very nice to work with. He gives you all the details, that, you know, the backgrounds and everything, so that everyone is on the same page. And don't misunderstood me. He's not a dictator on the scene. Just because he has given you all the backgrounds doesn't mean that he is going to dictate every move that you do. I mean, you can argue with him if there are things that you think it's not logical in the character. You can talk with him. And also, I admire him for doing workshops with us. Just 1 or 2 days, actually not just 1 or 2 days, 3 or 4 days before the shooting, so that everyone is on the same page. Everyone knows one another, the character, not the person outside of the screen, but the character really well. So we're like a family, but you know, previously we do not know one another. We have never met. We have some of them I've never worked with. So that's the beauty of working with Ray. And he is also a very well-tempered person. So I don't hear shouting on this, you know, at the set. So, which is very good for me because I don't know what to do with, you know, people shouting at me. Not that I will be intimidated. I just don't know how to react to that kind of sentiment on the set. But, you know, Ray never did. So that was my luck. And well, that's our second collaboration. And in this one, I kind of, I am actually the main person throughout the whole entire film. You see me, out of 100%, I would say 80% on the movie. I find it appalling. You know, the first time I look at the screen, I said, oh my God, I didn't realize, you know, I was there all the time. And then because the editor, he likes to kind of have these close to medium shots. I see on my head, it's so big on the screen, you know, it kind of appalls me. Yeah. So basically, both of my experiences with Ray was excellent.
Mm-hmm. And in general, he allows improvisation, or is he strict in that?
Well, strictly speaking, improvisation in what way? I mean, if in certain dialogues he allows that, but of course you shouldn't be going too out of character, of course. But other than that, not really. I mean, it's not like when you're still on the work stage of, exploring. He has given you for free hand when you do the improvisation, the exercise, a couple of days before the shooting. So when you are doing the shooting already, we don't improvise on the set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And how, I don't know, was it your first time playing a lesbian, let's say, in your career?
Well, I guess I'm not a lesbian, but the thing is, I think I grew up in a Catholic school, and it's an all-girls school, and I'm used to, girls having a very close relationship. Some of them may be lesbians when we were young, and we know that they are together, but at that time, we really don't know what it is. And then I have very close girlfriends, and we tend to show affection. And I guess boys are quite different. So a non-gay person portraying a lesbian would probably be easier for two straight guys to play gay guys. So I don't have really any problem playing that lesbian role. And plus, these two are, they've been with one another years. So they're like old married couple. And they don't, do that all the time, like kissing and hugging and all that. Every now and then, just the familiarity is in their daily life displayed in the some of the small things. Yeah.
And so this couple have been together for like decades, right? The ones in the movie. So how was the situation in Hong Kong, let's say, with gay couples like decades before, and how is it now? Is a difference?
Well, homosexuality in Hong Kong is not legal, but the thing is, it's tolerated. I would say accepted, or it's an acceptable thing, but not in the sense that it's openly acceptable. But let's say if your parents or your family is open-minded enough, they will probably welcome the other half of the same sex as part of the family. But they wouldn't say, they wouldn't like, because in Cantonese we give you certain names, like if you are my daughter-in-law, I give you a certain name. I call you daughter-in-law in Chinese. But in, if it is a same-sex situation, even if the family has accepted it, the mother or the father would probably not say, oh, daughter-in-law, or, that kind of thing. They would just say the name. But it's understood that you are part of our family. Yeah. And, in public, it is also tolerated and accepted nicely in certain circles.
But a film like that would not have problems with censorship in Hong Kong since it is illegal?
Well, we don't have any, sex scenes. I mean, even if in Suk Suk there would be considered like sex scenes, but they're not like exposed whatever, genitalia or whatever. It's not explicit, let's put it this way. It's just very implicit sex. That they are having a relationship. But in our film, it's not exactly just a love story. It's a couple who's been there for years. So it's not like in Suk Suk, it's a love story for two older gentleman. But for All Shall Be Well is the life story of a couple who's been with one another for over 30 years, and how the sudden death of one affects the life of another, and her journey of revealing that, the relationship is not what she expects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I felt like the deceased girl's family is portrayed in the films as the villains, essentially. Is that how you feel? Or
They're not portrayed. I don't think they are portrayed as villains.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's not Ray's intention, and that's not. He wants us to, or wants the protagonist, that's me, to think that these are, they are villains. That's why we don't want rave and scolding and all that explosive situations. We don't. They are just people, ordinary people, when given the chance to make decisions that would make their family better. Would they choose it over the relationship of a person who's been supposedly part of their family for years? So the temptation is there. And sometimes, as ordinary people, we succumb to temptations like that. So that's why during the Q&A after the show, we would always advise people, that's the first thing you learn. Go make a will, so that you will not put your family or your loved ones into decisions that they don't like to make, that they will be, feeling the rest of their life. I don't know, it's feeling bad for the rest of their life. Like Victor, the nephew, would probably feel bad for the rest of his life, although I'm pretty sure he will just bury it so that he won't feel a thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And how was your cooperation with Maggie in general?
Oh, okay. Maggie, we call her Maggie.
Uh-huh.
Maggie has been around many, many years. She was no longer in the, actively acting. But the thing is, she is 5 years my senior.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was still young, she was in the, she was a movie star. And so I know her, of course, but not personally. And then Ray told me that, before we start shooting the movie, I understand that he is still looking for my husband.
Uh-huh.
And then one day he said, let's go and have tea and meet a potential husband, see if she is willing to do that. And he wants to know if we have any chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to the hotel, and then we have tea together, and we talked for like 2 hours, because we kind of grew up or were adults in the same era, so we have lots of things to reminisce. And then Ray was there observing. I know he was observing. And I think he found that we have good chemistry. Mm. And Maggie is very easy to work with, and she's a very nice person. Mm-hmm. And she is also a very humble person, because she would listen to Ray intently. Mm-hmm. And she would always be afraid that she is not doing up to Ray's standard. Oh, so, we are all, so we have a great time together. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And how about Tai Bo? Because one of my favorite actors, I remember him from the Jackie Chan movies of the 80s,
Tai Bo is the second time that I have worked with him. The first time of Suk Suk, of course. He and I in the films will never get along really very well. So, but Taibo is a veteran in the movies. He had a lot more experience than myself. So when we were shooting Suk Suk, he would always give me advice because that's my first movie. And then in the second one, he would also give me some advice. And sometimes I would take and I would not take because we do look at things differently. Okay? So, but he is nice to work with too. I mean, he is being very helpful, although sometimes his style and mine are not the same, but you know, we're okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And which one would you say was the most difficult scene to shoot?
For me, probably is the scene where I read the unsigned will, because that one there is no dialogue, nothing, and then the only thing that's shown is the unsigned will, and then and yet you have to portray emotions, all the emotions that all the doubts are gone, but but prior to that there were doubts about if Maggie really cared about me. If she is, why did she put me in such a predicament? And then, of course, Taibo Go would say, my sister doesn't really want you here, and then it casts all these doubts on me. And then when you read the unsigned will, it's just misfortune. It's just the hands of fate is not on my side. And of course, I am a little angry too, that why did you not sign that thing? If you signed that thing, then I would still have a family and I would still be able to enjoy my golden years until my last days in a place where we built together as a home. Yeah.
But do you also have a favorite scene?
I do have a favorite scene. I think the scene with the dog is one of my favorite scenes because I am afraid of dogs. And for some reason, that dog is so old and he becomes very elusive. He evades you. Every time I go and touch him, he would walk away. I said, oh my God, it should be me who's afraid of you, not you are afraid of me. That was really funny. That's something that I find it most memorable.
And now that you have shot a couple of movies, would you say that you prefer cinema or stage play?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I still prefer stage play. For me, I've been a theater actress for many, many years. And I enjoy the process of rehearsing. And then during that period of time, you mold your character. And then you work with other people. You spend a lot of time rehearsing. And in the end, there would be a product that, it's like a journey. But for films, of course, we do not have that luxury. With Ray, of course, it's already, we do have rehearsals in the sense that not rehearsing the scene itself because, number one, there is not much movement anyway. It's camera movement other than the actor or actress's movement. So, but the emotions Ray would talk to you a lot, would spend a lot of time talking and explaining to us the character. Because most of his, I would say, most of his movies that I have watched and worked in are about people, relationships. It's not too much about, fighting and all that. So it's actually a luxury, I think, if you can use almost a week to rehearse, not on the scenes of the movie, but work on the characters so that each and everyone would know what they are doing and know their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the transition from stage play to a movie was easy for you, or?
It was actually quite easy because Ray has given me a very good cue, Yasujiro Uzu. If not, then it might be a little difficult. Mm-hmm. Then, you have a yacht stake, mm-hmm. and it would be easier. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And how would you describe the situation with the Hong Kong movie industry and maybe also the theater stage nowadays? How is it?
Sorry, I don't quite understand the question.
How is it working in the movie industry in Hong Kong right now, and how is it working in the stage play industry, let's say?
Okay, well, stage plays, number one, we know we would have offers for stage plays like half a year or maybe a year prior to performance. Because they probably want to make sure that you will be available for the rehearsals, and you will be required to commit yourself for quite a long time. But for movies, it's a little different. I mean, unless you are a big movie star, or unless you are like I am in All Shall Be Well because I have a very heavy role. The offer would not be like that early. So usually it would be a month or so before you got the part. And then, of course, because I am old and therefore I am quite limited in the kind of roles that I can do not on stage. On stage, you have more versatility, but on films, you are cast to do, characters who are kind of more or less your age. Mm-hmm. So the roles are kind of much more scarce. Mm-hmm. So basically, I understand that these days there are fewer movies made this year, probably because of the economic situation. So I don't know. Stage plays as well, not as many. So maybe I would have more time to, just to go, spend more time with my family who are in Toronto and the States, mm-hmm. And a little more time for myself. But, I am still very energetic, so I wish there would be more roles. Yeah, it's more energetic for an old woman.
Okay, and since you mentioned, are there any plans for your next works? What will you be working on next?
Well, I am involved in 2 plays. One of them will be performed in March in the Hong Kong Arts Festival, and when I leave Visu, when I go back to Hong Kong in 2 days, I will have to start rehearsing. Mm-hmm. And then my next offer would be almost the end of the year in October. Mm-hmm. And I start rehearsing probably for that particular role in probably mid-August to early September. Mm-hmm. And right now they're still writing the script. So okay. I really don't know, can't tell, what it is. Yeah, but I was given an outline. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess that's it. Thank you very much for your time.
You are very welcome, and it's my pleasure.
Okay, great.